Growing up as a minority in the U.S. leads to different experiences and ways of seeing the world. This difference often goes undervalued or underrecognized, especially in the field of journalism. In this video, I talked to two journalism students about their experiences growing up in the U.S. as a minority and how that affected who they are today. Despite minorities making up nearly 1/2 of the U.S. population, the minority experience is still underrepresented in media. In 2018, over 60% of newsroom employees across the U.S. were white, which means most stories are being told from a white-dominated perspective. I interviewed two Cronkite students, Rihanna Lee and Danish Kadri, about how they grew up in the U.S. as minorities and how that experience affected who they are today and what perspective they want to bring to the field of journalism. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
I spent most of my childhood moving around. Before I was even born, my dad was in the military, so they moved around a lot. Anyways, I think that after he got out of the military, he started, they moved around just because they were used to it. Yeah.
And all those places that you moved around to throughout your childhood, what was the majority race?
White. Caucasian, if you will.
Caucasian. And what was that like growing up as a minority and having to adjust to a ton of different places, all of them a culture which was not your own?
It was pretty hard. I think that with the adapting part of it, I used to be really outgoing, where I'd be, going to make friends so fast. But, as time goes on, I kind of stopped doing that. Now I'm uptight, allegedly. And, I don't think I'm uptight. But anyways, when I was younger, it was always really hard for me to fit in, which is why I think I was such an outgoing person, because I didn't look like them. So it caused, its own series of trauma and, childhood stuff that I have to get over.
And do you think there was anything positive that came from that experience as a minority?
I think that it made me more of an open, understanding person of other people's cultures, because I kind of grew up in the white culture and knowing a lot about that, but also my own culture, getting to learn more about it, every single day, now that I'm older and understand more things, and just getting to be around people of other cultures and learning about that, I think it's made me really open.
And do you think anything negative, is there still negative repercussions from that?
Oh, yeah. It's just, levels of insecurities that I still have inside myself, and stuff I'm working through in therapy. Get therapy. It's very nice. And, just traumas, childhood traumas. I feel like everyone has childhood trauma.
I would agree, but not everyone has racial childhood trauma.
Fact. I have that.
I am Indian, and then religiously I'm Muslim as well.
Okay.
So that's a double whammy.
And what was your childhood like?
I grew up in a household with my extended family when I was really young,
Mm-hmm.
so I never really felt alone because that's what I was like. And then I went to a Muslim school growing up as well, up until high school. So I was always surrounded by people that were like me, so I never really felt isolated, I'd say.
Okay.
But afterwards, yeah, because high school I went to a Catholic high school, which was mainly white and also not Muslim. So
okay.
Religiously, racially, both, yeah.
And do you think you have any negative or positive aspects of yourself that come from growing up as a minority in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'd say a mix of both. Pros, of course, is that it's easier for you to stand out, I guess, because everyone's looking for that diversity hire. So specifically, if I want to talk about journalism, statistically, Asians make up 1% of the journalism job market or whatever. 0.5% of that are males that are Asian that are in journalism. The cons, on the other hand, though, is that you're not given the same kind of I don't know, the same treatment, in the sense that you're not treated as someone who's being hired for your talents, your skills, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but rather you're simply just being hired because you're the diversity hire.
I think that's it.
All right, sweet.